by Sunbeam, the best electric appliances made. The deluxe Sunbeam Mixmaster food mixer, the beautiful Sunbeam automatic percolator, and the new Sunbeam Radiant Control toaster. Now, let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line, which this week starts its 10th year on television. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I know that you'll be as happy as we are to welcome our guest panelist tonight. He's our distinguished congressman from California, Representative James Roosevelt.
And I have the great pleasure of introducing the star of the play Once More with Feeling, that very lovely lady, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And now, while Bennett Cerf is vacationing in that warm Florida sunshine, it is my pleasure to introduce to you a gentleman who is about to open on a play on Broadway on Saturday night called The Rivalry, based on the Lincoln-Douglas debates. And while you are introduced as the congressman, sir, may I introduce my husband, who is going to be playing a senator, Senator Stephen Douglas, Martin Gabel.
And now, one of television's noblest ornaments, John Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line and panel. To begin the month of February with a big bang, I have a splendid surprise for you. You can all put your blindfolds on right now, and then we'll get to the business. There's some interesting, difficult, we hope, occupations for the panel and some nice people who've brought them to the theater. By the way, you may have noticed that tonight we have a new sponsor with What's My Line. The Sunbeam Corporation will be with us alternate weeks from here on in, and it's very nice to have them with us. Now, the blindfolds need to go on, and what we will do then is have our contestants and our mystery guests before the panel in just a little while, and we'll have our first contestant in just... All right, I had an extra T on there. That was Wes Howard, not West Howard, but we got the blindfolds all on panel?
Yes, sir.
And let's get the machinery rolling. Will our first contestant come in and sign in, please? Right there. That's fine. Now, would you join me over here, please? Thank you very much. Sit down, please. Now, needless to say, panel, you don't need to be told that there's an area of identification here that would have to do with a name, dress, or some aspect of our guest's appearance that we feel might possibly give you too much of a clue. I would really ask if you're familiar with the way we keep score on this program.
Yes.
In that event, let's let the folks at home and the audience here in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, we will tell you only that our first guest is self-employed, and we'll begin the general questioning with Martin Gabel.
The heavy, somber tread with which you came in here leads me to believe you're a man. Is that true?
Yes.
You have the feeling of being a big and powerful man. Is that true?
Yes.
Are you connected with sports in any way?
Yes.
Has your picture been in the paper in the past week?
Yes.
Is the sport that you're connected with, are there things that one wears on the hands in connection with that sport?
Yes.
Are you a boxer?
Yes.
Well, The evening, I believe, is opening gloriously, John.
You're ahead.
Did you knock out an American boxer in one round not so long ago?
Yes.
Was his name Eddie Macon?
Yes.
Are you about to fight next June Floyd Patterson for the heavyweight championship of the world?
All right, Martin, we quit.
Let me see if I can pronounce the name, John.
Okay.
Are you Ingemar Johansson?
Yes.
Yes. The first thing I want to say is Ingemar had some concern that his accent might give him away, and his yeses were just as clear as bell tones. We just had bad luck, Ingemar. There's a man who's a real sports lover, and I'm afraid that powerful tread of yours got him on the right road too soon. May I say it's nice, sir, to have you in the United States. We've watched this brilliant record that you've made in the ring with very great interest, all of us, and we think it's fine that you're going to have an opportunity to contend for the world championship. Floyd Patterson's American, and of course we would like to see the crown stay here, but if it has to go, I can't think of a better man for it to go to.
John, has it been determined yet as to where the fight is to take place?
No, not yet.
No, and actually that's still in limbo. It could be New York, could be on the coast.
Yes.
I mean, Chicago, I think, is bidding for it. I don't think they've picked the spot
Well,
yet.
there was some talk of fighting in Colorado. It's unknown as to any arena in Colorado that could possibly hold the number of people who will want to see Mr. Johansson fight.
Well, maybe they're just going to make an arena out of the state of Colorado. We'll all go to Colorado. That's one thing we can do.
Stay in New York, the greatest sports city in the world.
I must say Mr. Johansson's record is remarkable. He has fought 21 professional fights, I believe, and has won 12 of these by knockouts, and all of them, needless to say, he's won in one way or another.
Mr. Johansson is also the European heavyweight champion.
The European heavyweight champion.
John,
Yes.
do you think we might have it in Los Angeles, though, as a warm-up for the Democratic Convention?
It's possible, Jim. You never can tell. Well, it looks like that you've got some of your constituency here with you, Mr. Congressman. Must have a lot of people from California. Mr. Johansson, this just is a matter of norm. We flip all those. You've come a long way to see us. And I'm sorry that we didn't give him a roughest trouble. But thank you for being our guest. It's wonderful to have had you with us. All right, panel, a very good beginning, I must say. Let's see what you can do with the second challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Right there. J.R. Hanahan, right, sir? Mr. Hanahan? The J stands for what?
James.
James, Mr. James Hanahan. Where are you from, sir?
From Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, nice to have you with us. Mr. Hanahan, the panel. Will you join me over here, please, sir? Do you know how we keep score?
I do, sir.
All right, we'll let the folks at home and the good people who have taken their cold in stride and come to the theater tonight, let them know exactly what your line is.
Yeah.
All right, panel, in the case of Mr. Hanahan, we once again have a guest who is self-employed, and let's begin the general questioning, just moving next down the line to Miss Arlene Francis.
Mr. Hanahan, do people come to you for your services?
Yes.
Can you handle both men and women? Can you? Of course
Yes.
you can, Mr.
In
Hanahan.
these services.
Is there any product connected in any way with what you do?
No.
That's, well, now, wait a minute. This, I must say, Mr. Hanahan, with your permission, the question as it was phrased, is there any product connected in any way with what you do? I think we would have to say yes.
I have to say
as
yes.
is so often true. Anyone who is dealing in services often needs a product of some kind, perhaps to effectively perform the service that he's purveying. Beg pardon?
I just couldn't agree with you more, John. Whatever it is you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Hanahan, do you work indoors?
Yes.
Is it a building that would be recognizable to anybody immediately on seeing it?
Yes.
You mean as a building?
As a building.
Yes. Four walls, the roof, all that sort of thing. Windows, doors. Great
Got
deal.
a floor.
Got a floor, too, yeah.
In this building, would you say that the first floor of the building was the most important part of the building?
You mean because it holds up the others? Is that what you
I think so, in some way.
Yes.
Does most of the business in this building take place on this first floor where you are situated?
I think just in the general terms of reference of the present line of questioning, to spare you pain and the
Don't do
audience
that.
confusion, we'll give you a no.
Oh, very well.
All right. 1 down and 9 to go. Martin.
Has it been established, John, whether Mr. Hanahan works for a profit-making
It has
organization?
not been established, Martin.
He's self-employed, you said.
That's right. But the question has not been specific.
He looks like a very
yet.
generous man, Arlene. He could... well, human nature being what it is, am I right in thinking that you do work for profit-making... You do work for profit?
Yes, sir.
In the service that you perform, would you say it was more a mental service than a physical one, Mr. Hanahan?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Could I avail myself of your services?
Yes, ma'am.
And would I be better off if I did?
Yes.
Would I be happier?
I think so.
And this is a physical service. Do you touch people?
No.
3 down and 7 to go. Mr. Roosevelt.
Odd.
Do you have to have a special training for this service?
Yes, I would think so. Yes. Yes, you'd have to have some special training, Mr. Congressman.
But you do not have to have a degree in such as a
Not particularly.
BS or a...
No. Yes, you
a
do not have to have a degree, no.
Do you have to wear a special uniform to perform this function?
No, do you have to wear a special uniform? You mean a uniform which would be immediately identifiable with the specific service that you're performing?
more that would go with the occupation.
Go with the occupation, but a specific special uniform. Thank you. That's very nice, Mr. Congressman. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Benson.
I want to get back to this building again. Is this a building where anybody would be liable to stay for any length of time?
Yes.
Could be.
Could be.
Is it a building that also handles transients that may go in and out?
Could be.
Is it, when they come to this building, do they seek your services above and beyond anything else they might look for in that building?
No, I went to Washington yesterday to go to the investment of Bill Lawrence as the president of the National Press Club.
Yes, you're sluggish tonight,
And
John.
I'm sluggish tonight. And I wish you wouldn't ask that kind of question. They had a 50th anniversary closeout total, and they have a book, and the title of it is Shridlo, which is the story of the first 50 years of the National Press Club. It's clearer, that title, than what you just said.
Well, I'll retract it. May I
Would you try
take it back?
Yes,
All right.
please.
You say you do not touch these people, but there is something physical in the work that you do. Is there anything entertaining about the work that you do?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
I yield to no one in my admiration for Bill Lawrence, John. But I'd like to return to the question of physical service that you perform, but you do not touch the people. Well, by the sort of logic my wife uses, there would therefore have to be a machine of some kind that intervened between you and the people.
At time, yes.
And you must remember here, it's possible that the word physical service has a subjective as well as an objective connotation.
But it was narrowed to the fact that the work was more physical than mental, John. That complicates the matter.
Exactly.
Now, this machine, then, is the thing that would help Dorothy.
The machine, then, is the thing that would help Dorothy.
Well, now,
We got a machine.
excuse me, I don't want to interrupt. Can it be that John is at a loss for words? No. Impossible.
Now, I'm just sitting here waiting to pounce. You go ahead and say
All right.
something.
I don't know. I've had a very poor technical education, but is there such a thing as a diathermy machine?
Yes. Is that what you had in mind?
Yes.
Fine. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Hanahan, in your work, do you have something to do with the operation of a machine, whether you operate it or somebody else does?
Yes.
Is it a machine which comes in contact with human beings?
Well, now, this is other than the operator, you mean?
Other than the operator.
I guess that's what I did mean.
Yes, that's what you did mean. That's 7 down and 3 to go.
It
Miss
doesn't come into
Congressman.
contact with human beings.
Is the machine quite close to the individual who's receiving this treatment?
No, we hope not. We don't think so. That's 8 down and 2 to go. I'm going to give you 1 more minute, Miss
I
Benson.
think we're on the wrong track.
You are right. You are 100% correct.
Well, now, get back to the building.
Get back to animals.
I get back to the building once more. No.
Oh, no, not that building again.
Would I be correct in assuming that Mr. Hanahan does work with male and female human beings rather than animals in his service? His service is for people.
The service is engaged by people, yes.
It is engaged by people. People before animals, I'm for that. Does it have anything whatsoever to do with getting any place?
No.
Rather than remaining stationary?
No, that's 9
No.
out of 1 to go, Mr. Gabel. Do you want to take a shot at this, or do you just want to give up?
I'd rather give up, John.
I think, actually, you're not very close, I'm afraid, because Mr. Hanahan is a termite exterminator. And has his own company, which is very aptly named. It's called the Exterminate. Termite Incorporated.
What do you use, Mr. Hanahan, for exterminating termites?
Machine.
Machines and chemicals.
Cannon.
And in Miss Kilgallen's case, I could go in the house for something else beside termites.
That's right. Then you go in with a machine and thing, and then you get the termite with a hammer, you hit him. See, and that takes care of that. Thank you very much, sir. We had a wonderful time. I hope you did. And now we meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. We come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity for whom the panel always blindfolds itself. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, Mr. Mystery Challenger, and sign in, please? Please contain your enthusiasm for a moment now, please. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise. And let's begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Do you appear on television?
Affirmative.
That's yes. Mr. Congressman?
Do you also appear in the movies?
Affirmative.
Miss Francis?
I didn't understand the answer. Could I hear?
Affirmative. That means
Affirmative.
yes.
Oh, that means yes, sir, boss.
Yes.
Are you appearing in a picture that is now on Broadway?
Negative.
1 down and 9 to go. I actually here, again, with our guest's permission, not to mislead you, if you mean by Broadway the large general area of movie showing, we'll flip a card anyway. It might not necessarily be right on Broadway, but in the area. Is that correct, sir?
Affirmative.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gabel, sir.
There's something about your voice, sir, I believe it's sir, that I think I recognize. Do you play a musical instrument as well as, and sing as well as act? Professionally? At times?
A little.
Miss Kilgallen?
No?
What was the answer?
Yes. Well, the answer was a little. The answer is yes.
Have you ever played the Waldorf?
Negative.
2 down and 8 to go. Mr. Roosevelt?
Are you now in a play on Broadway?
Negative.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Accent upon the negative. Are you a character actor? Not necessarily bad.
Positive.
Mr. Gabel?
Were you in a play with Ben Gazzara not too long ago?
Oh.
Yes.
May I guess?
Yes, Martin, you go ahead.
Are you Burl Ives?
Right.
You will notice, John, that my gifts of guessing are only for celebrated people. That says something about me, doesn't it?
No, actually, Martin, I don't think we ought to accept any qualifications. Your performance this evening has been superb.
Very
superb.
kind of you, John. Thank you very
Now,
much.
while we're on superb performances, I have a great fondness for the man, am I right? Actually, many, many years ago, I think one of the first associations I ever had in any way with the entertainment side was with Burl, and we've been friends a great many years. But he's played a role in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Big Daddy, which everybody says ought to win him all the awards from here to there, and I sure hope that it does. And most importantly, the Academy Award. Burl, it's wonderful to see you, and always do cherish those early days when we worked together, and I take great pride in your achievements. You know, it's kind of reflected glory. Thank you
John?
very much for coming to see us.
Burl is testimony to the fact that if a man is talented, it extends to more than one area. When I first knew Burl and heard him, he played in cafes, sung wonderful American folk songs. Then, when called upon to act, he gave this great performance as Big Daddy.
That he did.
And there's no telling what he can do.
Next.
Thanks again, Burl.
We'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. All right, now let's have a final panelist. Will you come in, or rather challenger, come in and sign in, please? Right there. Thank you. John Eberly, is that right? All right. John, where are you from?
From Brooklyn, New York.
Fine. Will you just come over and join me? Because, panel, we're very short of time. I want to see once again if you can get something very quickly. We'll let everybody in the audience and at home know very quickly what your line is, and then let him go. All right? All right, panel. We will tell you that Mr. Eberly from Brooklyn, New York is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Mr. Roosevelt.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a product which you deal with?
Yes, sir.
Is it a product which is used in the home?
Yes, sir.
Gracious, that's the funniest Brooklyn accent I ever heard. Is it a product that is used in the living room?
Yes, sir.
Is it a part of the entertainment part of the living room?
Well, it could be, yes.
Yes.
It could be. Is it a separate piece within the living room, like a separate piece of furniture?
Oh, that's a good question. No, that's one down.
I'm afraid that was good.
One find this in any other part of the house? Might one?
Yes, could be.
Is it small enough to hold in your hand?
Could be, yes.
Would you ever put it in your mouth?
Yes.
Would you ever eat it?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Since time is short, I pass, John.
All right, Miss Kilgallen.
Would you ever drink it?
Yes.
Does it have any alcoholic content?
Yes.
Dorothy, I'm awfully sorry. We just ran out of time.
Beer or liquor?
I just ran out of time. That's all. I don't want to hear another word. No, actually, I think you'd have gotten it. Mr. Eberly is what a job, a beer tester for Peel Brothers. He tests beer.
Thanks very much. Hope you had fun. I wish you had a little more fun.
Had you with us, Mr. Congressman, and Martin, once again, and all the panel. Congratulations and good night, Miss Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Jim.
Good night, Miss Francis.
Thank you.
Good night for now, Martin.
Good night, Bennett. Good night, Arlene. Good night, John.
Good night, Martin. Good night, Bennett. Good night, Arlene. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for contestants on What's My Line is arranged by United Airlines. What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Codman. This is Hal Sims speaking.